Back throughout the week, we brought you our series on food production in Africa. Now, Lindy Mtangana brings us the last installment on exports. Let's take a look.
Thank you for joining us for the final installment of our special series, Food Production in Africa. Today, we take a look at some of the giants of African export. Despite its proximity to the birthplace of coffee, Ethiopia coffee growing was introduced in Kenya relatively late, around 1900. Despite the late start, today it is a country renowned for having some of the best coffee in the world. Nonetheless, Kenya's coffee sector faces challenges for the future, and low global prices, combined with climate change and population growth, have diminished the country's output over the last decade. Now, with the coronavirus effects being felt in every sector, the industry is taking yet another hit. Here's Alexandria Majala with more.
Every day, an estimated 2.25 billion cups of coffee are consumed worldwide. 90% of what's in these cups is produced in developing countries. Coffee was introduced into Kenya about the same time the colonial masters began their journeys into Africa. It has remained a major contributor to the country's economy for over a century.
Almost 80% of them live on the farm.
I paid Fairview Estate a visit, 10 kilometers from Kenya's capital, Nairobi, to talk to them about coffee production.
Fairview Coffee Estate was established in 1909 by a European lady called Evelyn Poy. So the coffee you're seeing here was actually planted in 1909.
Kenya's industry benefits from two harvests a year, the fly crop and the main crop. The crop is harvested when the berries turn wine red.
Normally during the picking season we pick from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. So the coffee pickers bring their coffee to a sorting area. So we hand sort the coffee before processing. Then after we have hand sorted the picked coffee, we put it through a sherry hopper, like basically a concrete funnel where you put all the coffee berries, and then they get into a machine that helps us remove the skin. So we remove the skin and then we put the coffee seeds in fermentation tanks. So we ferment the coffee overnight to remove that slimy membrane on top of the coffee berry so that in the morning it's easy to wash. So that's why most of Kenyan coffee is called washed Arabica, because it goes through this washed process.
Afterwards, the coffee goes through a water grading process, and later it's dried, milled and graded by bean size. Lastly, they are roasted and grinded. 93% of the Arabica coffee grown here is headed for the export market, while 7% is consumed locally. In May 2020, Kenya exported $21.5 million worth of coffee, down from $23.9 million the previous month. A myriad of challenges has seen the sector's performance fluctuate over the last decade.
Ideally, we should be receiving around 1,200 millimeters of rainfall, but because of climate change and all that, we hardly get that, so we are forced to irrigate our coffee.
To contend with changing weather patterns and the falling production that comes with it, the Kenyan government introduced a new variety into the market called the Roro 11. The Arabica bean has been met with some resistance in some quarters, while others like Fairview Estate have embraced the new bean.
The main determinants of a good quality coffee, I would say, is mainly your practices and the altitudes that you can't do anything about, and the rainfall, but mainly the practices. So Ruru 11 is still Arabica type of coffee. So depending on how you grow it and how a sustainable farmer you are, you're still expected to get a very good cup from the Ruru 11.
Coffee is currently Kenya's fourth largest export commodity and provides 6% of the total agricultural exports. But coffee farmers on average earn 35% of the international market value of their beans. So to help growers maximize their profits, the government allows farmers to sell their coffee directly to international buyers.
About 15 years ago, we decided to go up the value chain a little bit more so we could begin to do direct sales. And so we went into the certification process. We're certified by 4 global certification partners, including people like Rainforest Alliance, Starbucks, UTS. And so, through that process, we're able then to sell our coffee direct to buyers like, Louis Berger, like Starbucks. And when you sell your coffee direct, you're able to double, literally, the value that you're getting from the auctions.
to smell the aroma.
According to the Coffee Board of Kenya, Kenyan beans have a bright acidity, potent sweetness, and a dry, winey aftertaste. However, these flavors haven't appealed much to local consumers. Nonetheless, stakeholders believe that there's room for market share to grow.
There's the vibrant urban youth that, with outlets like Java and others emerging, are increasingly drinking, more coffee. I think it's seen as a sexy beverage, not only here but in other parts of the world. It's got great health benefits if you don't drink too much. And so, yeah, we are trying to promote coffee drinking because at the end of the day, if people do drink more coffee beverages, that income, hopefully will filter down to the people that we employ here.
You pull it with your front teeth to the back of your mouth.
Despite facing many challenges over the last 3 decades, Kenya's coffee sector continues to make it a leading cash crop for the country. Alexandria Majala for CGTN, Kiambu, Kenya.